Today I'm taking the MAIWO 4-bay hard drive enclosure. So we got our power supply. So this is good for 100, 240 volts. So it's good for international or domestic. It outputs 7 amps at 12 volts. We got our power cable. We got our data cable. It's USB-A to USB-C. And we got another data cable. It's USB-C to USB-C. We got a bag full of screws, comes with a little screwdriver, and we have got the enclosure. So I really like this chair red handle that we got on there. It does have feet with some rubber padding on the bottom, prevent it from sliding around, so it's going to help to keep it a little bit elevated above the floor. And we got 6 screw holes in the bottom. So this is the hard drive base, and you can see it just kind of slides out, but if we want to make this semi-permanent, we can go ahead and screw that into the base. The base is metal, the enclosure is plastic. And it looks like these can just kind of pop out. There are bolt holes, and this one is already screwed down. They're also labeled hard drive 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we got a light bar on the top to let us know the drive activity. There's a perforated front cover to let some air pass through, and we can see our 4 SATA connections there on the front. In the rear, we got our power supply port. We got on-off, so we can turn the whole thing on and off, or we can turn on and off individual drives. That's pretty cool. Most of these things, you just turn the whole thing on or off. We also have an HDMI port, a Type-C port, and then the port that goes to the computer. So with this, we'll actually be able to daisy chain. So you can plug one into the computer. Now, if you have another 4-bay enclosure, we can just daisy chain from the PC port into the Type-C port here. So we get have a total of 8 bays, all using one cable to go to the PC. And we have 2 fans that are going to help to cool this guy down. So I'm going to load my first hard drive, making sure that that is making a proper connection with that SATA port, and then we can screw that in. Now you can use up to 4 screws, so 2 on this side, 2 on the other side. That's really going to depend on how much you think you're going to move this guy around. And I can take my next hard drive and throw that in and do the exact same thing. We can use 2.5 size drives and put that in there, but the only problem with that is that it is not going to line up with the holes on this enclosure. They do, however, make adapters like this, so we can take that 2.5 and turn that into a 3.5. So you'll still be able to use your 2.5 size hard drives with this enclosure. I'm going to start out with everything off. I'm going to plug in the USB-C to USB-C cable just because my laptop uses USB-C. And I will plug in power. Okay, so the power LED is lit up. The fans are not spinning. Let's turn on number 1, number 2, 3, and 4. Alright, so all the hard drives are currently reading, and it is picking them up, and it is playing those files. And we can see it is reading all 4 of those hard drives. Do a crystal disk mark check just to see what we can expect to get. So this is the noisy boy. This is my hard drive that makes a bunch of noise, so you can test to see just how much noise this thing is going to make with that hard drive. So we can see that it does make some noise. It's definitely not as bad as it was in my main computer. In my computer, it was vibrating the entire deck, so this is actually handling it very well. Okay, so this is what I would expect out of one of those old spinning rust hard drives. So we got a maximum read of 146 and a maximum write of also 146. So now let's check one of those SSDs. Okay, so this is about what I would expect out of a standard SATA SSD. We're getting a read of about 453 and a write of about 464. The only other thing I want to do, I want to make sure that I can actually copy files from one hard drive to the other, just to make sure that it is possible to access more than one hard drive at once. Okay, and that is working. Okay, so it did start out a little bit slow, so it was probably small files, and then once we got up to the larger files, we're getting about 120 megabytes per second. So not bad for a mechanical hard drive. And since we're here, I do want to see what this enclosure will actually output. Okay, so the computer did see it. And there we go. That is awesome. So we can also use this as a video dock. So if we have a laptop like this, and we just want to come home, set it on the desk, we can plug this one cable into it, and that will supply us with 4 hard drives as well as another video output. So that is an awesome enclosure.